All is well, all is good. I'm DJ Chalie Numbas. They call me the Globe Stroller because I've been everywhere. All is hood. Welcome to the Phat Mechanics Chop Shop, where we bring in really, really important people in this business. It's about this show is about the business of entertainment and what works for you, what may not have worked for you, what have you. Today we got a special guest. Y'all knew I was going to say that. Very special guest, a very, very talented actress, Miss Raquel Brown.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much for having me.
I appreciate it. I'm new at this space. I've been in this business a long time, but this right here is my brother. We got LaPaula Crawford, a.k.a. Simon Phoenix, a.k.a. Keys Crawford.
Mr. Director.
Mr. Director, LLC.
A.k.a. Mr. Director, LLC. I sent you some of the stuff we work on this show. Because I didn't want to, I don't want people to think that this is one of those shows. This show is strictly all love. We ask only questions that help, that can help the next person coming up. I'm going to ask the question that everybody asks first. How did you start?
So for me, actually, I started acting, I was maybe about 6 years old. And funny enough for me, actually, my first stage play, I was a dancing mummy. And what's funny about that is, as Pell knows, and a lot of other people, they know I can't dance. So that really streamlined me getting into acting, because at 6, not being able to dance, I had to act as if I knew how to dance. And so that was pretty interesting, and I pulled it off. Still don't know how to dance, but if the role requires it, I will figure it out.
Who casted you in that?
So it was actually a school production that I did for the first time. And yeah, it was really interesting. And then also during that time, my family they're very religious. And we had to act out for the religion. We had to act out different scenes in terms of witnessing is what we had to do. And we had to actually literally write out, what we would witness to the individuals that we would meet. And at a young age, I had to do that. And I did it with my mom, and I really enjoyed it. And I think that's kind of what got me started with acting, writing, and when I got the bug.
Got you. Okay, so you get the bug. Okay, so were you the one that pursued it, or did mom pursue it for you?
No, I did, and I kind of got mom on board. So it was something that I'm like, I want to do this. I was really excited about it. I researched at a young age different things that I needed to do, and then she surprisingly really supported it, and she's been supporting me ever since.
How important is that?
Very much, very important. Yeah,
I talk about that all the time. I know a lot of talented people where their parents didn't support, didn't get on board, didn't support, so they kind of fizzled out or went to the wayside. Yeah. You got to have a love for this. So your love for the acting, it started right there with the dancing mummy?
It did. Well, it started actually before that, but that was kind of like my first taste of it, because I was actually live, and that was my first taste of actually being in theater. Right. And for me, I've done film, I've done commercials, I've done all kinds of things, but that first taste of theater, I've never lost my appetite for it. And it's literally what I love doing and what I'll always do. But I never lost that desire.
I was doing that too. People don't know, but I was into a lot of theater.
It's not too late.
I'm
never too late.
I'm gonna need your help, because guess what? They just casted me in a new web series.
Okay.
So I might be calling Raquel. I don't know what to do. Pell's yelling at me. I don't know what she
I got you. It's never, but it's literally never too late. And it's something that, obviously you would want a passion for it, but it's something that a great director, which Mr. Director LLC is a great director. He can kind of direct you to get you to do the things that if you're not comfortable with it, that you'll either get comfortable or kind of put you in the right direction. But it is something that you can definitely learn on set with a good team, and they have a great team. So I can vouch for that.
They do. Let me ask this. So when you started acting, did you grow up here in Ohio, or where did you grow up?
So I Yes and no. I was actually, I was born here, but we moved to Tennessee, Chattanooga, Tennessee, when I was very young. And we ended up coming back. I was around 6 or 7. So yeah, basically I grew up in Toledo.
Okay,
Yes.
in Toledo.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So when you get to going, when the acting gets going, where are you? Is your mom trying to get you roles elsewhere, or how did you get cooking here in Toledo? 'Cause I know that's tough.
Yeah, so there were a lot of like programs coming up when I started. So there were like the Barbizon, Starbound, and things like that. And so she actually got me enrolled into those programs early on. We did modeling. I did a lot of like photos, headshots. And so acting was always my goal, but I thought that it would be easier to get into acting if I started with modeling. So I kind of, she helped me, kind of pushed me in that direction a little bit more. So I was able to kind of travel, go to a lot of different modeling agencies with those programs that I did growing up. So we traveled to Miami. We went to a lot of different places at a very young age. And it was interesting because on some of those trips, my mom actually wasn't able to go. So some of the older models and actresses within the business that I had met, they were kind of like my guardians on some occasions. So
Mom was cool with that?
and she wasn't initially, but I was able to get her to be comfortable with it. And luckily, I didn't have any bad encounters with not having that supervision. Now, true enough, I was in a couple of locations that I may not have had the proper identification to go to, but as a teenager. But luckily, it didn't turn out bad. Okay. And so she trusted me, I guess I would say, more so than the people that I was with at the time, and her guidance and all the instruction that she had led me through as a 6-year-old, getting started in the business, going through being a teenager. And I learned a lot. And
so what age was this? Was this 12, 13? Or?
So I would say when I started going traveling outside of, it was more so like 13, 14 when I started doing that. But it was modeling more so then, and then commercial started. And then that's when I really got more so into theater, which was always the goal to begin with.
Travel does something different for me. You know what I mean? I mean, it gets you, to me, the traveling, when you traveling, you really feel like you're doing something. You know what I'm saying? Did that open it up for you? Like, this is what I want to do.
I think for me, it really helped because it allowed me to mature. I would say a lot sooner than I think I would have if I didn't do that. And it may have been because of the people that I was around. It may have been because of the mentors that they had with us, kind of chaperoning us, because we did have chaperones, obviously, but it really helped me to mature at a very young age. And that has helped me even in my older years.
Yeah.
We'll just leave it at that. It's helped me in my older years, I would say, kind of getting started early on. And what's funny about it, too, though, is I'm actually very shy. Extremely shy, like awkwardly shy. However, acting, I think, helped me get out of that because I was able to basically become a different person altogether. And so even in my personal life, when I had those shy moments, I just went into the mindset of, okay,
I'm somebody else.
Right. I'm someone else now. And I was able to start talking and to express myself and to actually talk about real emotions and feelings that if I was just being myself and if I didn't have acting, I wouldn't be able to do those things. So it really helped me not be the shy person that I really, really am deep down inside. So it helped in a lot of different ways. Maturing, it helped me socializing, social skills, getting friends. And so, it did a lot for me.
Yeah. So I have a question with that. Sure. We're talking about how being somebody else than what you normally is.
Yes.
Like one of my stories is my mom got to see one of our films we was in, and I ended up having to play a part in it. Yeah. And my character was cussing up a storm. Yeah. My mom was like, well, I didn't know my son could cuss like that. I was like, your son don't cuss like that. That's that character does. Right. So
that's him, mama.
When your mom started seeing you really in your bag and acting, how did she respond to that?
So what's funny, you asked about my mom, but I actually have a funny story about my father, actually. Okay. Because I was in a production and I was a dancer, again, surprisingly, but not the dancer that I was when I was 6 years old, which was more like a mamba, like a salsa type dance. Yeah, but it was more like it wasn't that. We'll just say that. And so he said, I didn't realize this is what I was coming to see my daughter be. And I'm like, that wasn't your daughter. I was the character. And so he later said, well, you did a good job, but it was just surprising to see his daughter in that form, but it wasn't his daughter. I was playing a character. And so my mom, she, the same, because she actually saw the same production that my father saw, and she had the same thought. But again, she was just still, I think, a little bit more open to it, just because she saw how excited I was when I did those projects and when I talked to her about projects. And it's like, you don't get that excited about anything. And so if this is something that you're that excited about, I have to support it. And so she did.
Dope. So let me ask this. So when you're preparing for those roles, whatever it is, how much do you study? Like, how much, what do you do to get to, get your role cracking?
So I'm a big research person. So I do a lot of research, kind of, studying the backstory of the characters. I go to different environments that those characters may be in, and just kind of making sure that I'm completely comfortable and confident in being able to portray that person. Right. So if I have to read and research, if I have to go to clubs where different like for that part, if I have to kind of do observe people within their element that are that are familiar with those roles, then I do that, because I really, it's important. If someone has written out a vision or a thought that they want you to portray, then that means it's important to them. And if I agree and accept that responsibility, then I need to make sure that I'm putting everything that I can put into it, and I can properly fulfill that. So yeah, if I need to do research, if I need to do interviews with people, then that's what I'm going to do. Because if I'm committing to this project, then I'm going to try to bring your vision to life exactly the way you want it to be. So yeah, I'm a big research person, and I'm serious about that.
Right. So let me ask, because I was watching one of your roles, and you had a kid.
Yeah.
You had a kid. You don't even look like you're old enough to have that kid. But you did good. You was a good mom.
I appreciate that. And that was definitely acting, because I have stepchildren, and I love my stepchildren. But myself, I am not a mom. And so that was definitely acting.
Yeah.
But it was interesting being a different person and having that love for a child. But yeah, I was definitely acting, because I don't have any physically of my own.
Well, so let me ask this. So when you say you take a role, mm-hmm. and what if you go to those places, like you say, you like to go to the places where you can kind of get into the mindset? What if you go to those places, you're just not feeling it? Like, what do you do? Like, with the role that I'm about to play.
Yes.
I'm from this element, this type of element.
Gotcha.
So I kind of know, like, so the writer writes stuff, and then you say, well, I don't think he'll say that at this point. Well, so are you comfortable with going to the...
I think for me, those are the ones that I'm more drawn to. And that's only because if it's something that I'm not accustomed to, if it's completely different from who I am, then that's when you really have to dig into acting. Okay. That's when you have to really pull that character out. And I think that challenge is what it's really all about. Okay. If you're someone that's really passionate about the industry and acting, you're going to want to do things that challenge you. And being yourself all the time, that's not a challenge at all. So okay. I would prefer to do roles that are completely different than who I am. So dancing, I can't do that. I would prefer to do that.
Right.
And so just things that someone would think that I'm uncomfortable with, those are the things that I'm happy about, because it's a challenge, and I like a challenge.
Yeah. So I was going to ask, so when so say you're going to audition, and there's several roles in front of you. I was going to ask, do you go with the one, you kind of just answered that, do you go with the one that's more like you or less like you? Is it more fun for you to go to that role or challenging to go to that role?
I would say the one that's completely different from who I am. Yeah. And that's just because, again, it's a challenge, and I want, it's fulfilling to me as an actress to be able to succeed with completing those challenges. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of what it's about for me. So if it's something that's completely opposite for me. I'm like, oh, this is the person that I want to be. And I'm going to be this person for, if we're filming for 3 months, then for 3 months, this is the person that I'm going to be. Yes. And so that for me is like an adrenaline rush, and it's like a high, and it's just that. So the role that's not myself is what I would go for. Yes.
Okay. So that segues into a question that I've been wanting to ask you.
Sure.
I probably asked you this before, but since we on the air, I want to ask you again.
You gonna cast me to be a boxer? Is that what you're gonna say? No. Oh, okay.
So you answered the question before I asked.
Okay.
So with that, you like the challenge of a role.
Yeah.
What would be your dream role? We know you're gonna be the female. What is it? Ali, get up there.
Yeah, I want to do an action role. Like I've been thinking about it for a long time now, and I've been behind the scenes training just for when you decided or someone decided to cast me for an action role or a boxer or a karate or whatever it may be. Never got into a fight, just so you all know, but I would be very excited to do that. And I like literally, so just think about it and write a role, but an action role is what I really would be excited to do.
No. So now that you're grown and you pretty much handle your own affairs, is mom and dad, are they still that supportive? They asking like, what's going on? How's this going?
So my mom, I would say, is very much so. She's like one of my biggest supporters. But my dad, I believe I traumatized him with that one production when he saw it. Because even I'm doing a play currently touring, and I asked him to come to our opening night, and he was like, just tell me about it. I don't know. And I'm like, but my mom is like, yeah, I want to go. And so she's really excited about it, but he's just still nervous because he's not sure what he's going to see or what to expect. And so he just would like to hear about it after the fact. But mom is, she's a big supporter still.
That's good. That's excellent. And so I talk about this all the time, and a lot of people come to me for advice. That's the premise of this podcast. So when people always ask, like, what do I do to start? Is it for you when you started and it clicked and you said, okay, that's what I want to do? Sure. Did you start looking at money, or what was your drive? Like, what drove you to? So initially, no, I did a lot of research, and again, I met with a lot of people that were in the industry, and I had a lot of great mentors at a very young age, and they were able to kind of direct me into things that were red flags or things that you should do getting started. And knowing myself getting started, I'm not gonna get a multi-million-dollar project. So sometimes you're gonna have to be an extra in a production, or you're going to have to be the lady walking by in the grocery store. You know, when you're starting, you that's what you're going to have to do, right? You're getting your start. And so if you really truly enjoy it, like I truly enjoy acting, even being in the environment for me is a learning experience, and it's going to help me grow. So if I'm in the back, and if I'm behind the scenes, if I'm the woman, if I'm lady number one at the cash register, even being in those environments, I think is a good experience. So for when I started off, it wasn't about money, but it was about just getting myself in the right rooms, getting myself and having the right conversations with the right people, and being on different sets, different types of sets, and different types of films, right, in different roles, different environments, different places. So I just wanted to act. So whatever that consisted of, keeping my integrity, obviously, but whatever that consisted of, whether it was, a paid role starting off or not, starting off, I just wanted to act and build my portfolio. Correct. Yeah, be around it. Meeting people, networking. And so that for me helped, because there's a lot of people that I started doing things with years ago that have grown to massive levels, and those connections that I have it's kept me active within the industry for many years. So hey, listen, people out there, if you want to get into something, whatever it is, sometimes you got to be of service too. You know what I mean? Carry something. You may have to carry something, but just to be around it, I think it helps you. It helps you when you get in front of the camera. Right. You know what I mean? So, because a lot of people don't realize, like, I'm a DJ, so we all started off carrying somebody else's crates. Yeah. You may not be that person. You know what I mean? This guy been with me to some of the craziest gigs when we actually had crates of records. We had 10 crates of records. He'd be like, where we at? Where we going? What we doing? just to be around it.
Right. And it really helps to be the best in whatever you do. You knowing all parts of it. That is going to ultimately help you become your best self. So if in production, if you're a production assistant, if you're a production manager, whatever it is that you are, knowing all of those roles ultimately will help you progress to being whoever it is that you set out to be. But doing every part, knowing how to do every role, not being ashamed of doing any role, ultimately that's going to make you the best form of yourself. And that's what I've always done. I don't complain about it. If I need to jump in, whatever it is that I need to do, I'm going to do it, and I'm excited about doing it. Even to this day, I'm still excited about doing it.
That's the love. That's what I talk about, the love. Like, because a lot of these things that we get into is when it comes to entertainment. If you get in there for the money, just retire now. Just quit right now, because it's a lot of stuff. It's a lot of things that you have to do to get into this business. Right. And I won't even say it. I don't even like to say that it's hard, because if you love it, you know it's not that hard. I just want to be in that environment. Right. So you said you talked about the tour a little bit. Tell the people what is the play.
Yes, so right now we just started a brand new tour for Bruh Man Needs Love Too. It's actually following the life of Bruh Man from the hit show Martin. It's kind of following his backstory and actually leading to kind of knowing more about him, because he was a man of few words if you watch the show. Right. And so you didn't really know like what was his story. And so this is actually following his life and kind of giving you a little bit more of his backstory, his family, and the love that he needs and that he's missing in his life. My character actually has a surprise twist in the story which I won't go into because it is definitely a huge surprise. But it is. I will say there's comedy, there's laughter, there's drama, there's tears, there's so many different emotions within the one production. So I'm really excited about it. And we did our first show in Milwaukee, and we have a lot more to coming up. Actually, we just secured some new cities, and so I'm really excited. Reginald Ballard from Martin, he's in it. Omar Gooding from Baby Boy, what's the Baby Boy? Yeah. Yep. He's in it, and he does get one of them. Yes, brothers, right? And Smart Guy, he was in that, and Cuba Gooding Jr.'s brother, and he's a phenomenal actor, comedian, and he has a lot of talents, and so there's a really great cast within this production. So there's so many different emotions, and that's what I really like about it. I've done a lot of theater, which was just a lot of comedy, a lot of musicals, but there's a lot of emotion within this project, and I'm super excited about it. And and it's just a lot more to come.
So we talked. You told me the answer, but I want you to tell my audience: film or theater?
Theater, hands down.
Okay.
Yep. I love theater. Like, I know a lot of people are surprised when I say that, but I absolutely love theater. And it's just because you don't get any takes. There's not a cut. There's not a take two. There's none of that. It's like, it's action and you're on, and you have to stay on regardless of what happens. If something breaks down, if someone forgets their line, you still have to be able to hold it together enough to make it entertaining, to not let the audience know that something, a mishap happened, that someone forgot their line, and you really have to entertain, because you have to you have to keep the show going. And so that adrenaline for me is just like nothing else.
So question though. So say you have to. So say you do something different. We talked about this a little bit too. But say you do something different and it went over well. Yeah. Like, do you do it again the next night, even though that wasn't what you were supposed to do?
Well, after I hear it from the director, because they know what's supposed to happen. If they say, okay, yeah, we're going to keep that, we will. But if they say, hey, you weren't supposed to do that. Okay. Then I won't, but if it's something that you have to do, obviously they're going to appreciate you keeping the show going. However, if it's not what they intended, if it wasn't within their vision, then we're going to go back to what it should be. But in the heat of the moment, if it's something that we have to do, then I will. But typically we'll keep it on script.
Have they ever came to you like, dang it, Raquel, don't do that no more. You did that 2 nights in a row. Did you ever get that? Okay, good.
No, I had got that. Now, it was a few times. It wasn't necessarily me, but it was something that I had to do in response to bring someone else back to what they were supposed to say. And then they appreciate that too. And that's another thing that you have to be able to do on the spot. You have to figure out something that you can say to get another person to remember what they're supposed to be saying without kind of straying away from it too much. So it's literally, it's quick responses and quick action. And so that's kind of like why I like it.
I had to learn some on the film side because LLC over here told me, he said, you don't want to improvise too much because you might mess the other person that's playing off of you.
Correct.
You might mess them up.
Yep.
So I said,
because they have cues and they have certain words and things that they're waiting to hear, and they're depending on you to say that to be able to kind of cue them to say what they're supposed to say. So even if you have, because sometimes in theater I've known a few people that they just completely they just go blank. But it's like with monologues, because I know I've had a few times where I've had very long monologues, but there are still cues that when you're leading, going from out of your monologue to another person coming in, they're waiting on these certain words or certain things for you to say. And if you don't say that, you can really throw off the entire scene and the entire production. So in some cases, even if you have that moment where you're like, oh my God, what just happened? I don't know what's going on. You still, as long as you remember those cues and can kind of, bring it back to that and kind of stay on topic, you're able to kind of save it. But ideally, you wouldn't want to have to do that. You want to be on point, practice what you've been practicing and nail it when you're supposed to. And typically that's what happens. But in the event you need to improvise, then you need to be prepared to stay on subject, to remember those cues, and to not stray from what the director is, in most cases, paying you to do.
My first role, this is my first role, and he's got me grabbing people. I'm snapping off buttons. I'm breaking people's buttons, and I'm like, okay. So I saw this clip of Will Smith and Tatiana Ali. I don't know if y'all saw this. And Will, when he said that he knew everybody's lines, so he would be sitting there mouthing their lines while they're saying it. Do you ever get that?
Yep, and that actually plays back into me saying knowing every part, or knowing even behind the scenes, but even when you're filming, even more so, especially because if you know what everyone's saying, then you're not going to forget what you're supposed to say, and you're going to actually be able to help bring them back to it if they lose it. So that, I think more so, that definitely helps, especially in theater. You really need to know not even just your role, but you need to know everyone's role, and that kind of helps keep it on script and kind of helps you help other people if they need it. If they need it, they shouldn't, but if that happens, things happen. But that's the best thing to do.
It's one of those things to where I tell people, any plan that you have when it comes to filming or theater, throw it out the window. Yeah. Because you don't know what's gonna happen on stage or in front of that camera. The biggest difference, like you said earlier, is that if it happens on camera, cut, reset, back at one. Let's go again. Right. And then you have that space where you be like, okay, you're supposed to say this, and this here. Right. That gives them cue. On stage, like you said,
you don't have that.
You don't have that. You can't lose your cool. You can't lose your composure. No. You got to be able to still feed lines and feed cues. And I think Denzel Washington said it in one of his interviews, to where he said, theater is where you learn how to act. Yep. Because filming, making movies, that's a filmmaker's medium. Exactly. Because you can sit up there and give in your mind, give the best performance ever. Right. You killed it, but the camera was on your foot the whole time. Yeah.
So the theater is not. I don't know if I would be ready for theater. Like, you're a different animal with theater. Goodness gracious.
But for you, as you getting started to think about theater, for you that would be excellent. Which is why, what she mentioned earlier, the adrenaline. You adrenaline head. Yeah. You like the rush. Yeah. So the rush of getting, when you behind that curtain and it's about to open, them lights about to come up, and you got thousands of people that ain't never seen your face, and you got a whole day attention for however long the play takes.
It's gonna fuel it.
That makes sense.
That feeds a beast that you didn't even know existed.
Yep. Yep.
So
that overall, just that adrenaline, and like if you're someone and you like, you know, adrenaline, and you're excited and you're outspoken, and you know it's really, you really will feed off of it. Like literally when the curtains open, it's like if you were nervous, it's like it's gone. It's all of that's gone. It's like it's now or never, and you don't want to embarrass yourself.
Right.
So you gonna make sure you know you're on point, because you got these people watching you now, and they paid to come and see you. So you want to make sure they get their money's worth. Right. So yeah, I don't know, theater's just a different animal. I love it.
See it. You light up when we talk about theater. So what about writing? Do you have stuff that you want to?
Yeah. So ultimately, my goal now more so is, obviously I love theater. I will always love being on stage, but I actually love, just for me doing so many different roles coming up, and as I'm growing within the industry, I found other things that I enjoy, and writing is one of those things. Because just like I said, I was that shy girl that, you know, I was able to kind of speak up more. Playing characters, I also like to tell stories for different characters too, and I also have stories within myself that I want to tell. And then I just have a creative mind. And so with that creative mind, all these stories, these different situations and encounters and experiences, there's so many different things that I want to show and tell. And that creative side of me now has just this animal of being a writer that I would like to, that ultimately is something that I am working towards. I've written a lot of different things, and so just working on the right timing, the right cast, and bringing it all together. But ultimately, I love writing.
Right, we want to know about it. We definitely want to know about it. So just a question I always ask, almost in closing, but what works for you in this business? What works for you?
What works for me? I would say what works for me is just doing. Just doing. It's like it's unexpected, and it's just kind of going with it and not giving up. That's the main thing, because you know you may encounter people within the industry that may not have the same goals or intentions that you have, and as you're working with these different people, it may become discouraging. But ultimately, you have to remember your why within getting into the industry. You have to remember why you enjoy it, why you decided to pursue it, and just literally keep going. If it's something that fuels you, that gives you energy, that gives you a sense of happiness and joy, then you just got to keep going. And that's what I'm going to do.
I appreciate it, man. We appreciate your work. I love it. Tell the people how they can follow you.
Yes, so I am actually on social media, Raquel Brown on social media. The Image RN, Raquel, the Image RN on Instagram, and Raquel Brown for the most part on any social media platform, Instagram, Facebook, and check me out. And Bruh Man Needs Love too. We'll be on tour coming to a city near you.
And follow me back. Make sure you follow me, because I'm coming to LA. I'm coming to that show in LA. Thanks so much, Raquel.
Thank you.
Thank y'all for joining us on the Phat Mechanics Chop Shop. I'm Chalie Numbas. Thank my man, Paula Crawford, Tila Fields on the boards. We'll see y'all next time.